One of the problems that we've got in the 21st century is an obsession with an investigation. And we see that in ITV, we see that in India, we see that in Ukraine. It's call all the time for an investigation to establish the stupidity, the responsibility, the deceit, the complicity, the blame. Doesn't really matter. It doesn't deal really with the tragedy itself, does it? People still die, people are still injured, people are still hurt. An investigation is not a panacea. It's a process, and at best it delivers a prescription after the event or a recommendation for the future. We talk often as if it's an end in itself. It isn't. The three people, for example, trapped on the street because an air raid shelter was locked in Ukraine. The three people locked out. The 288 people killed in the train crash last night in Odisha on the way to Kolkata. Appalling loss of life, which we might blame on railway signalling, on human error. Even then, the railways minister will say that we must look into the problem, we must seek the root cause of the accident, make sure that this won't happen again. Well, yes, but what are we going to do about the problem itself? We can't bring those people back. There's a degree of responsibility, there's a degree of care that we need to produce for the families. And, India has a repeated history of train crashes. We only have to think back to the Guwahati disaster in 1999, for example, to see how routine, I'm afraid, this is on a very crowded and demanding rail network with 12 million people moving around the country daily on a system which was designed by the British, as part of the Raj. A very impressive system, but out of date now. And Narendra Modi has been trying to update it, to modernize it. But it's difficult modernizing a system that's already in place, particularly when it's going through crowded places. How do you add extra tracks? How do you improve the security of the system when there's very little room for maneuver? And in a way, we have the same problems here in the UK with our own railway projects and our failure to respect the people who are actually working on the railways. If we can't start with respect, I think it's very difficult to establish safety. And in the end, the people who are getting paid the most are the people conducting the investigation, the people who are moving papers around their desk, the bureaucrats. This is nonsense. This is nonsense, and people are dying. And we need to go beyond talking about an investigation as if that is going to solve the problems. The thing which will solve the problems is the solution, is the recommendation. That comes after the investigation. Maybe the investigation is necessary, but actually, we can probably already make recommendations. The investigation is a way to pause and is a way to signal our intent. It's like promising to pay somebody and sending a copy of a bank statement or an invoice as if we've actually done it. We've only paid somebody when the money appears in the bank.